Woolworths workers striking for a 16% pay rise. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your morning stein of coffee and probably put a bit of rum in it, guys, because I think we'll need it for this one. Now, a comment made on a recent video I did. A worker from Woolies mentioned that they'd closed the distribution centre in New South Wales due to a strike. And I thought, well, how did I miss this from the news? So I thought we'd have a look into it and to provide a, well, balanced piece, because I have an inherent bias against collective bargaining in some ways, or particularly the criminal action that unions can take. I thought I need to, get a few sources here to put in front of you. Because the problem is you can just be in an echo chamber with social media and YouTube. So I've got a few things. This may be a bit of a longer video, but I think it's important to have a look at what the different parties are saying. Because on the face of it, taking a strike right now when we're, apart but together, or all in this together, or during a pandemic, just reeks of opportunism. Just reeks of utter opportunism. A class of people that still have access to work, that aren't stuck at home. They can work. They're essential to keep the country going, to keeping people fed. And now's the time to demand insane rises. 16%, that's... Have you ever got that big a pay rise? Maybe a bonus, but a pay rise? So let's have a look. I thought we'd start by looking at there's some quotes here from Mises Institute about the union myth. And, we'll read a little bit of this here to give you an understanding. In Human Action, Ludwig von Mises wrote that labor unions have always been the primary source of anti-capitalistic propaganda. I was reminded of this recently when I saw a bumper sticker proclaiming one of the bedrock tenets of unionism, the union movement, the people who brought you the weekend. Well, not exactly. In the US, the average work week was 61 hours in 1870 compared to 34 hours today. We're not made of the same stuff as back then, guys. We're not. Although, I think in Australia, a lot of people work 60 hours a week. A lot of us have done it, guys. It's just part of life. Professionals in particular. And that kind of, when you realize how much you have to work in some of the professions, it really doesn't stack up, does it? And then when people whinging about doing a little bit of overtime in a crappy job, you just have to laugh. So, and this near doubling of leisure time for American workers was caused by capitalism, not unionism. As Mises explained, in the capitalist society, there prevails a tendency towards a steady increase in the per capita quota of capital investments. Consequently, the marginal productivity of labor, wages, rates, and the wage earner's standard of living tends to rise continually. Of course, this is only true of a capitalist economy where private property, free markets, and entrepreneurship prevail. And remember that, because that's being attacked. That's being attacked. I would argue Australia's obsession with property and the taxation system that's encouraged people to invest in property has dulled our entrepreneurial spirit. Has dulled it. It's, the complexity there of, building a house. Sure, it's complex. You've got to get a team together. You've got people. But if you're the person paying someone else to do it, is that really entrepreneurship? Maybe the builder starting up a business and, being innovative, finding ways to save money. That would be entrepreneurship. But anyway, that's kind of why I'm making the argument that economic complexity is so low here in Australia. The steady rise in living standards in predominantly capitalist countries is due to the benefits of private capital investments, entrepreneurship, technological advance, and a better educated workforce. No thanks to the government school monopoly, which only serves to dumb down the population. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Look at some of the demands coming out of the unions over in the US right now. I think that one of the education unions are wanting to defund the police, which is insane. Which is just insane. You want reform. I understand. But only fringe nutters are calling for the defunding, and yet, America's a world of entertainment when it comes to politics. So labor unions routinely take credit for all of this while pursuing policies which impede the very institutions of capitalism that are the cause of their own prosperity. The shorter work week is entirely a capitalistic invention, as capital investment caused the marginal productivity of labour to increase over time. Less labour was required to produce the same levels of output. As competition became more intense, many employers compete for the best employees by offering both better pay and shorter hours. Those who did not offer shorter work weeks were compelled by the forces of competition to offer high compensating wages or become uncompetitive in the labour market. And that's how it should work. And the issue is here, a lot of people are in such a regulated labour market where everything's dictated by other parties. They don't appreciate this. They've never experienced this. They've never actually been able to negotiate a pay. Capitalistic competition is why child labour has all but disappeared, despite unionist claims to the contrary. Young people originally left the farms to work in harsh factory conditions because it was a matter of survival for them and their families. But as workers became better paid, thanks to capital investment and subsequent productivity improvements, more and more people could afford to keep their children at home and in school. Union-backed legislation prohibiting child labour came after the decline in child labour had already begun. Moreover, child labour laws have always been protectionist and aimed at depriving young people of the opportunity to work. Since child labour sometimes competes with unionised labour, unions have long sought to use the power of the state to deprive young people of the right to work. In the Third World, the alternative to child labour is all too often begging, prostitution, crime or starvation. Unions absurdly proclaim to be taking the moral high ground by advocating protectionist policies that inevitably lead to these consequences. Unions also boast about having championed safety regulations by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration over the past 3 decades. The American workplace has indeed become safer over the past century, but this was also due to the force of competitive capitalism, not union-backed regulation. An unsafe or dangerous workplace is costly to employers because they must pay a compensating difference, higher wages to attract workers. And we see that. Employers, therefore, have a powerful financial interest in improving workplace safety, especially in manufacturing industries where wages often comprise the majority of total costs. In addition, employers must bear the cost of lost work, retraining new employees, and government-imposed workmen's compensation whenever there is an accident on the job, not to mean the threat of lawsuits. Not to mention, I need a coffee. I'm making too many mistakes. Investments in technology, from air conditioning, factory farm tractors, to the robots used in automobile factories, have also made the American workplace safer, but unions have often opposed such technologies with the Luddite argument that it destroys jobs. Mises was right that unions has always been a primary source of anti-capitalistic propaganda, but since he wrote Human Action, American unions have also been at the forefront of lobbying efforts on behalf of the regulation and taxation of business, of capital. They have severely hampered the market economy, making everyone, including unionists, worse off economically. And I'll let you go through the rest of this yourself. Because he's talking to regulations that are specifically American, but we can understand what's going on here. And it's probably worth having a read of Human Action. So here's an overview of, essentially from the Austrian school of unions and some of the damage they can cause to the greater economy. They're not the heroes everyone says. So let's have a look at Woolworths and their release on this closure. So, comments from the Woolworths Chief Supply Chain Officer, Paul Graham. We've made the difficult decision to close our Wuyong distribution centre until Wednesday, the 29th of July, in response to the strike action taken today. And this is on the 24th of July. So they shut it down for a week. Did you see this in the news, everyone? I didn't see it appear on news.com or any of the more mainstream ones. I found something on Financial Review, but that was pretty much it. While we fully respect the right to strike. We need certainty in our supply chain to continue providing the essentials the community relies on, especially during the pandemic crisis. To minimize disruption to our customers, we've enacted our contingency plans out of other distribution centers and will service store deliveries from these sites. We've negotiated in good faith for 4 months and accepted a number of claims from the bargaining representatives, but we won't agree to unsustainable pay demands and the removal of basic performance expectations. There you go. There you go. This is the thing. You get the situation like in the education system where you can't fire people, where basic expectations for performance are completely removed. The deal on offer is more than reasonable in the current economic climate in the context of the Fair Work Commission's recent decision to increase the minimum wage by 1.75%. It will deliver certainty to our team members and help secure Wuyong's viability in our network. See, here's the problem. The unions could destroy this viability of this centre. They could do it. They've done it in the past. And then everyone suffers. But the people only see the short term. They only see, I want more money, I want more. They don't realise, they're jeopardising everything. We asked the bargaining representatives to reconsider the offer on the table because further industry action won't change our position. So in some background information, Woolworths has decided to take employer response action in response to the protected industrial action, strike action, taken by the employees on Friday, the 24th of July. This is in the form of a lockout that will start at 5 a.m. on Saturday, the 25th of July, and end at 4:59 a.m. on Wednesday, the 29th of July. The site will be closed during this period. This action is taken under the Fair Work Act. The proposed enterprise agreement offer Woolworths has put to the bargaining representatives includes the following enhanced conditions for the site's 550 team members. Wage increases of 9% over 3 years. Wage increases over 9% over 3 years. That's pretty good. Would you like 3% a year wage increases, guys? I think so. For level 1 and level 2 team members, and 6% over 3 years for level 3. So 2% wage increases. Redundancy provisions increased to a maximum of 82 weeks, up from 40. See, when you work in small business, some of these things you've never encountered in your life. And 82 weeks of redundancy, a maximum? That's insane. See, this is the problem with this type of stuff, okay? You may think it sounds good, the redundancy stuff. But this just means that this could be money that they could be paying you now. They could be paying you now. You could say, you know what? Get rid of redundancy and give everyone a higher pay rise. Then they don't have to hold their money aside. And then you get the money now before it loses its inflated value in 82 weeks' time. Or, in years' time. 10 days domestic and family violence leave for permanent team members, 5 paid and 5 unpaid. Don't you have sick leave or holiday leave? I don't understand. Permanent team members to receive up to 2 days paid leave if unable to attend work due to a natural disaster. Isn't that what sick leave is for? Holiday leave is for? The wages in the proposed EA are up to 48% higher than those provided under the Standard Storage, Services and Wholesale Award. There you go. And yet they've gone on strike, guys, from this offer. Seems good. According to ABS data, the average wage increase across the private sector see that's it. They're not talking about the real sector that gets much better increase anyway. We're not talking about that. In the March 2020 quarter was 2.1%. On the 19th of June 2020, the Fair Work Commission announced a 1.75% increase to minimum wages for the financial year. The minimum wage increase in the Storage Services and Wholesale Award commences from the 1st of November 2020. The United Workers Union are proposing a 2-year deal with the following unsustainable pay increases. Year 1, 16% for level 1. 9% for level 2 and above, and 4% for all work groups. 16%. 16%. In 1 year, pay increase. I'm going to have a shot of coffee with that. Let me know in the comments if you think that's fair and reasonable. Let me know if you think that's fair and reasonable. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the... So we've seen, the Mises argument against unions. We've seen what Woolies have put on the table, or a snippet of it, and we've seen what the unions are demanding, 16%. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the media release from the United Workers Union. It's always in red. And to see their take on it. And this was released on Friday? 24th of July. So, is it a response to it? Potentially. Potentially. When, where, what 500 workers stop work for 24 hours? Who, the United Workers Union spokesperson Brad Donnelly, will be available on site for comment between 5 a.m. and 3 p.m. Poor guy, he's got to go out there in the cold for a few hours. This morning, up to 500 Woolworths distribution workers were forced to take legal... No, they weren't. I'll fix this for you. Chose to take legal industrial action and stop work. Well, actually, no. Sorry. They probably were forced. The union probably forced them to do it. Do you think all the workers wanted to do it? I mean, this would be the problem. You'd have no chance of being a dissenter to this in this organization. Are they even... I know closed shops aren't allowed, or they brought them back. Let me know if they've brought them back. I know when... Because my first job ever was for Woolworths, and I was forced to join the SDA. And then I remember, because I was paying money every week to be it. And I was earning $100 a week, so I was paying $3 to $7, something that was a substantial percentage of what I was earning. I was a kid. And what frustrated me was that all the people were earning more than me doing the exact same job. And probably some of them were slower at it than I was with the scan-through rates. Performance expectations, that's how they measured it. And what frustrated me was I actually went for, the union advertised for people who wanted to be a shop steward. And I thought, that'd look good on the resume. That's how naive I was. And I went in there and just... The stories they put to you, all these scenarios they created about, unfair workers and these terrible conditions. And most of it was the people acting stupid. Like stealing food and not paying for it and breaking all these rules. I'm going, you can't just take something off the shelf and eat it. You got to pay for it. What if everyone did that? So they never called me back. I didn't fit the model. Although there was a homosexual couple that just ate it all up there. The two of them ate it all up. And I mean, these places, the Woolies were very incestuous places. I can just imagine having a relationship there, even a heterosexual one, let alone a homosexual one in there. It'd just add lots of, certainly entertainment. I know we were at the Surface Woolies, so we'd always go upstairs, and we'd sneak the girls into, I think there's MP's meeting place, a gay nightclub in Surface, because they wouldn't ID check. Bad, Florian. Naughty. I'll cut that out. It's always an angel. Always an angel. Anyway, back to this. That's my experience with becoming a shop steward, guys. That encounter, just the way they were arguing, that really made me even more, hardened me against some of the strategies that the unions pursue. So let's be fair. Let's go through this. Workers at the Woolong Distribution Centre on the central coast of New South Wales are demanding pay parity with workers that do the exact same job for the same company less than 2 hours away in Sydney. Workers on some job levels are paid up to 16% less. Workers, cost of living is different. Cost of living is different. That's it. They need to pay more to get the workers there, or... Don't they understand this? Well, no, they don't. Workers are also calling for an end to Woolworths' unsafe... Here we go. Woolworths' unsafe pick rates and insecure work, which leaves many worrying if they'll be able to support their family week to week. Well, no, the unsafe pick rate... How are they unsafe? We'll have to see. That's what... See, the union calls it unsafe. Woolworths calls it basic performance expectations. Okay? Woolworths has been using the unsafe pick rates to discipline workers and as a basis to refuse permanent jobs. Well, you want to get promote. Okay, here's the problem. In the real world, promotion, which is going well, I guess. I mean, permanent jobs gives you a little bit more security, but you're losing out on the 25% loading. But whatever. Promotion is based on merit. It's based on merit. So if you're better at picking, you're better at your job, you'd expect that person should be rewarded. Woolworths warehouse staff have worked throughout the pandemic crisis, except when they're striking, helping the company achieve record growth, but management continues to refuse their demands after almost 5 months of negotiation. We heard 4 months in the other article. Recognizing that this is a difficult time, workers will return to work at 5 a.m. on Saturday, but they have not ruled out further stoppages until they win pay parity with the big city distribution centres. The strike comes off the back of a devastating announcement amid the pandemic that Woolworths would slash 1,350 jobs across Victoria and New South Wales, leaving many Woolworths workers feeling angry and betrayed. Well, maybe you should be lucky to have a job, guys. This is a recession. We're heading into a recession. Most people probably don't even know what that is. They probably don't even have a living memory of that. That's why they're demanding a 16% pay rise. You want to be in a situation where your job, it's in the interests of Woolies to keep your factory open and shut down the Sydney one. If they have to, if costs are going down. So, quotes attributed to United Workers Logistics Director Matt Toner. And here we go. Let's have a look at these. There is no reasonable justification for workers in a big city like Sydney to be paid so much more than regional workers doing the exact same job. Yes, there is. Cost of living is much higher. Property is much higher. Rent is much higher. Everything costs more in the big city than in the regions. There's your justification, mate. You're in logistics. You're meant to understand this stuff. Come on. These workers have helped deliver record wage growth for Woolworths during one of the most difficult periods in recent history, and the demands are very reasonable. The demands are 16% in 1 year. How is that reasonable? Woolies has given you 3%, nearly double what our free market, Fair Work Ombudsman has put forward. We know that a lot of people are out of jobs right now, but it's no time for any worker to be on their knees. This is about more than just these workers. It's about their whole community. Now more than ever, coastal and regional communities will have to rely on there being good, secure jobs. Exactly. So why are you creating... So here we go. If this centre cost as much as the Sydney one, why wouldn't they just focus more on Sydney? Drive the trucks out from there. Woolworths Wooyong warehouse staff have moved more products during this pandemic than the last 3 consecutive record-breaking Christmas periods, helping the company achieve record growth. And here's quotes attributed to Woolworths Wooyong distribution centre worker. We aren't worthless just because we live and work in Warnervale. We do the same work and we should be paid the same amount. This is about securing a future for our families and our communities. Some casuals here have been waiting 6 years for a permanent job. Meanwhile, Woolies brings in people off the street and gives them a permanent role. That's hard to watch. Yeah, that is. That is hard. I can understand that. That would be really frustrating. Wonder why they're doing it. You've got to see. Maybe it's because are the casuals not meeting their performance requirements and they're not picking? Are they too slow? I've been working here for more than 10 years. I'm sick of being one of the lowest paid Woolworths warehouse workers in Australia. Then change your job. It's probably a bit hard now. You should be lucky to have it. Upskill. Get into management. Do some other study. Do something. See, this is it. It's coming down to jealousy. They're jealous about the Sydney workers. Move to Sydney. If you want to get paid more, move to Sydney. Move 2 hours away and get a transfer to that warehouse. I'm sure I'm sure there'd be a chance of that happening. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing that? I wonder why. Probably because you got a better quality of life there. United Workers Union members are calling for wage increases that place Wuyong workers on a level playing field with the Sydney Distribution Centre. The ratio of 80% permanent to 20% casual staff and conversion to permanent to be based on length of service. Here we go. So they don't want it based on your capabilities. They don't want it. It's not about merit based. It's about length of service. There you go. Seniority time. Yeah, oh, but that's fair, Florian. They've been there longer. They may not be as good. That's life, guys. We're not all equal. Some people are better than others. Some people work harder than others. That's life. You don't think it's fair? Well, you've been watching too many cartoons. The number of times I have to tell my children life isn't really fair. It's never going to be. Don't expect it to be. If you fall into that trap, you're going to have a sad, depressed life, thinking it's fair. Woolworths to stop using unsafe pick rates. Improved classification structure. Currently, 2 people can be on two different pay grades and pay rates, but do the same work every day. So here's some background. Wuyong workers have been negotiating since March 2020. Pick rates are the number of items a worker is expected to move every hour. The average difference, depending on the classification, is between 8 and 16% per hour. This is based on the average of the three Woolworths Sydney distribution centres compared to the wages at the Wuyong distribution centre. Woolworths supermarkets have seen their revenues grow. Who cares? That's part of business. In the previous quarter. Note, workers will be closely observing physical distancing measures and using PPE to ensure they do not increase the risk of spreading the virus. Workers will be complying with New South Wales public health orders and not gather in groups larger than 20. So, you know what we'll do here, because there's one more piece. I know this is going to be a long video, but, I think we need to do that. Wuyong. Okay. What we'll do is, let's have a look. Let's compare real estate between Wuyong, house and land packages, Sydney. Oh, we know the average in Sydney. The median is like 900 grand. Home and land packages. Here we go. Now selling. Come on, give us a price here. Contact the agent. Oh, they're not putting the prices up. Realestate.com.au. Price on request. There you go. $235,000. New to market. 370 to 395. 850. Bloody hell, why are they getting that expensive? Damn, 1.4. Let's go to the cheaper area. Let's go to prices lowest to highest. There you go. So you can get some cheaper stuff. You can get some quite expensive stuff in the luxury places. Address available on request. Residential land. Address available house. 350 to 380. So you can get stuff under 400 grand. Let's have a look at this one. Under 400 grand. And look at that. Nice little 3-bedroom specky. Median price in Sydney is sitting at 900,000. That's why we've got the price difference, guys. In wages, cost of living is substantially higher in Sydney than in Wuyong. So let's have a look at one more thing to make sure I'm not being completely biased. This is the World Socialist website. Woolworths lock out workers at Australian warehouse. And this is another part of the argument. And I'm going to need a shot of coffee to go through this. Woolworths, one of Australia's biggest supermarket and retail chains, last Friday imposed a 4-day lockout of 500 workers at one of its warehouses in New South Wales, Australia's most populous state. The company launched its attack after the workers held a 24-hour strike to demand improved wages and conditions. The Wuyong, do they mention how much they're asking for? They will. The Wuyong warehouse on the New South Wales Central Coast is one of 3 such Woolworths facilities in the state servicing 75 of its supermarkets in the region in Sydney's north. The United Workers Union, which covers the site, claims to be demanding a 16% pay increase for level 1 employees in the first year of a 3-year agreement, a 9% for those employed in higher positions. The union is calling for this to be followed by 2 annual 4% increases. Wow. So in 3 years, you could get 24% increase. Well, no, it's more than that as well, actually, because it's a 4% increase on your 16% increase. Damn. I'm in the wrong... Here we go. The union's demands would only result in parity with low pay rates at the company's centres in Sydney. Currently, wages at Wollongong are between $29 and $37 an hour. Now, I'm so far removed from hourly rates and how much people get. To me, $29 seems like a lot of money an hour. $29 seems like a lot of money. You know, am I $37 an hour, guys? You know what? It could be worse. You could be on JobSeeker and they put it back to $40 a day. And this is not a highly skilled job. This is stacking stuff. I mean, you have to be good at it. I was terrible at stacking. I had to work the bloody thing when I was doing shop pack, and I remember I knocked it into a whole bunch of produce. Anyway, Woolworths has rejected the proposal, condemning unsustainable pay demands and the removal of basic performance expectations. And here we go. Here we've got comrades. We're all there waiting. The union has created the conditions for the company assault by isolating the workers, restricting them to limited industrial action, and encouraging them to make impotent appeals to management. This is another anti-union argument, but a different perspective. A different perspective, guys. We need to look at a range of different things to make an argument here. I mean, from my perspective, it seems quite the offer on the table from Woolworths of 9%, over 3% a year seems quite reasonable, particularly in this climate. And they're in a position there to have a job. And the housing we've seen here, you can get a nice house for under $400,000, guys. Union brokered agreements have resulted in more than 20% casual employment in the warehouse. Casuals with years of service have not been made permanent, despite often doing the same work as full-time employees. They never mention that casuals are paid a loading. You have to pay a casual more. They get more money in their hand rather than they're depending or trusting Woolies to put that money aside and in a big bank so they can pay you on the holidays. They get more money. Wouldn't you rather have more money straight away so you can attack your mortgage, so you can attack your debts, so you can build up a reserve, so you can build up passive income first? Isn't that what people want? Or are people just not thinking like that? Workers' anger has been fueled by soaring pick rates, the number of items they must move every hour. These have risen substantially during the crisis. Even before the pandemic, workers reported the rates had increased to 230 cartons per hour, up from 160 just 7 years ago. So, okay, you've got to move how many cartons an hour? 2? I mean, that's one advantage of a job like this. At least it's active. It's physical to keep you fit. My father-in-law did it. And he was the skinniest he ever was, he said. But then he ate junk all the time. At a picket line outside the warehouse, a worker in the chilled and frozen goods section told the World Socialist website, "There's a big turnaround for casuals here. I've only been here 2 years, but I've seen heaps of people come and go. I'd say up to 100 every year. Yeah, that's probably because they don't like working hard. With the outbreak of the pandemic, you would see 80 people coming in every week, and a lot would leave in their first week. It's a very demanding job. I see injuries all the time with picking." The worker noted that despite the dangers, the casual employees receive no sick leave or other entitlements. They are paid a loading, everyone. Is this going to be mentioned? I hope. Will it be mentioned in this article? That they receive extra money being casual than compared to a permanent person. I remember when I was doing my job at Woolies, on the checkouts, beep, beep, beep. There's one girl who quit school. She was pretty stupid. She wasn't a smart girl, but the family encouraged her to quit school at like 16 and do an apprenticeship at Woolies, just an apprenticeship. And the pay she got was just only a couple of $100. I was earning more as a casual, just working on the weekends than she was, and I was studying and doing school. So sometimes it's better to be casual, guys. But I guess it comes down to the employee. The perceived the perceived security that permanence can provide, I think in some ways it's false, because that can just make you redundant. But then again, they're arguing for, well, no, they're going to get 82 weeks of redundancy pay. Another employee commented, it's going to be a difficult week. Since they've locked us out for 5 days, a lot of people are going to be struggling to make ends meet. Well, why don't they? See, again, here, they don't have a reserve. They don't have a reserve. A lot of people on the Central Coast live week to week. I've been saving, putting things aside, but it's still going to be a struggle. Well, why doesn't the union pay them? Why doesn't the union pay them? You know, for that week. Isn't that what the union's over there for, to take care of you? Shouldn't they be doing that? We've worked all through the pandemic, and all we got was for a cash incentive was a $250 gift card to spend on Woolworths and shares, which we can't touch for 3 years. So what? That's great, guys. Getting shares in a company like this. I remember when they were $3, guys. Well, and they don't want you to touch it for 3 years because they don't want you to just flood the market with it. While this worker had been made permanent, a colleague had been a casual for 7 years. The worker added, the pick rate in here are just astonishing. They're so incorrect, there's no standard built into it. Week to week they change. Amid a resurgence of the pandemic infections in Victoria as well as in New South Wales as well as neighbouring Victoria, the worker said he was worried. Workers have asked for masks, but the management said that it was on the government website that they didn't need masks, so they weren't going to provide them. If people are trying to keep up speed for the pick rates, there's no social distancing. The lockout is aimed at establishing a precedent for further attacks, as employers seek to use the pandemic to accelerate a decades-long pro-business restructuring of workplace regulations and conditions. They're saying it's pro-business, I'd say it's pro-free market, but I mean, there's going to be a bias in each of these articles that we're reading. The extent of such planning is shown in the company's strike-breaking measures. When the lockdown was announced, management revealed it had enacted contingency plans to ensure continued operations at the warehouse. No, it hadn't. It was a contingency plan to ensure continued operations at other warehouses to meet the demand that was not being met by this facility. That's what they put in place. Hasn't been mentioned here. We haven't heard a mention of the leave loading that the casuals get. I don't know if the socialists will mention that. Just weeks earlier, Woolworths announced plans to close its distribution centres in Minchinbury and Yennora in Sydney and Mulgrave in Melbourne by 2025 and open an automated distribution centre in Moorebank in Sydney. The facility targeted for closure employs 1,300 workers, whereas planned automated centres will require only 650. Well, can you blame them? Can you blame them when your workers are demanding 16% pay rises in 1 year? Okay, I can tell you other businesses can't put up their prices by 16% in a year. Last year, even before the pandemic crisis, Woolworths announced the closure of 30 Big W stores and the shuttering of associated distribution centres, resulting in destruction of 1,000 jobs. Yeah, that's called a recession, communists. We're entering a recession. While slashing jobs and claiming it cannot afford meagre wage rate. It's 16%, isn't meagre. That's big. That's a big wage raise. I mean, do the socialists get that wage raise all the time? Can someone... Really? I can't put up my fees 16%. Bloody hell. No, I feel like, in some regards, I haven't been able to put them up since the GFC. Well, let me know in your business, guys. Have you been able to put your fees up 16% every bloody year? What would happen? What would happen? Anyway, they continue to reap massive profits. Yes, and now everyone in the distribution centre has gotten shares, so they will get a share of that profit. They'll get a share of that profit, guys, because they're shareholders in the company. In June, the company announced it expected full-year earnings before interest and tax to be in a range of 3. Oh, it's just jealousy, comrade. Who cares? In response to the Wuhan lockdown, UW Logistics Director Matt Turner issued a grovelling statement complaining that the company's response was an overreaction because the union had already moderated industrial action in recognition of the pandemic circumstances. The UWU's only concern is that it risks being sidelined by the company and excluded from the bargaining table, where it negotiates away jobs, wages and conditions while ensuring the privileges of the union officials. The United Workers Union, like other unions in the sector, has imposed one sellout agreement after another, resulting in casualisation and dangerous conditions throughout warehousing. The union has done nothing to disrupt Woolworths operations at its other warehouses in a bid to isolate the Wuyong workers. Toner's comments are a warning that the UWU is preparing another sordid betrayal. This is in line with the role of all the unions throughout the pandemic. They have collaborated with the federal and state governments to reduce working conditions and slash wage levels, thus forcing their members to pay for the economic crash. They've got jobs! They've got jobs! Come on! Workers at Wuyong and elsewhere need to take matters into their own hands and establish independent rank-and-file committees across the warehousing sector to conduct a genuine industrial and political offensive for decent, full-time and higher-paying jobs. They're box packing. It's an unskilled job. They're earning, what is it, nearly $30 an hour, some of them. Guys, is that in here? Come on. Some committees would be tasked with breaking the isolation imposed by the unions and turning out to other sections of the working class. Above all, they would confront major political issues, including the need to fight for a workers' government that would place Woolworths and other major corporations, along with the banks, under public ownership and democratic workers' control. I told you I'd give you a range of sources. This is more extreme than some of the others, guys. And here we go. Workers be warned. The treachery of the unions, is one of the comments, is the reason your strike has achieved nothing, and you will achieve nothing but your own hardship and isolation. You need to take action independent of the unions by forming your own committees and immediately reaching out to other sections of the working class who can support your actions. That includes overseas Amazon workers who face the same problems as you, understanding that you're fighting the capitalist system and not just management of Woolworths. So there we have it, guys. And let's have a look at one more article. I know this is going to be a long video. But we'll do it. And it's getting a bit ranty the longer I get into it. Let's have a look at the Financial Review's take on this. So Woolworths locks out warehouse workers. Woolworths has locked out hundreds of distribution centre workers for 4 days in response to a day-long strike and claims for 16% pay rises. The supermarket giant will shut its Wuyong distribution centre on the New South Wales Central Coast from Saturday until Wednesday morning and move its source supermarket supplies from other centres across the state as the employees stop work for 24 hours on Friday. The United Workers Union, which has for the past 4 months been seeking pay rises to bring workers to the same pay level as their colleagues in Sydney, accused the company of risking bare shelves to protect their profits. Woolworths Chief Supply Chain Officer Paul Graham said it had decided on the lockout to provide certainty. While we fully respect the rights to strike, we need certainty in our supply chain to continue providing the essentials the community relies on, especially in the current crisis, he said. To minimise disruption to our customers, we've enacted our contingency plans out of other New South Wales distribution centres and will service store deliveries from these sites. Mr. Graham said the company had accepted a number of the union's claims, but wouldn't agree to unsustainable pay demands and the removal of basic performance expectations. The workers' claims include a 16% pay rise in the first year for Level 1 employees and 9% for more senior service employees. All other workers would get a 4% pay rise in the second year. All workers. Woolworths has offered a pay rise of 9% over 3 years for Level 1 and Level 2 team members and 6% over 3 years for more senior employees. It has also pledged to double the maximum redundancy pay from 40 weeks to 82 weeks. What, 82 weeks? 82 weeks for being made redundant from a warehouse job. Wow. And provide 2 days paid natural disaster leave, as well as some other conditions that aren't mentioned here. The agreement would see workers paid 48% more than the award minimum and is still above broader wage growth of the economy of 2.1% and even lower minimum wage increases. Mr. Graham said the deal would help secure Wuyong's viability in our network and was more than reasonable in the current economic climate. The United Workers Union Logistics Director, Matt Toner, said the company's response was an overreaction and workers had moderated their strike in recognition of the pandemic. Workers were prepared to return to work after 24 hours in recognition of the difficult time this is, but Woolworths has locked workers out until Wednesday. He said Woolworths was willing to risk the food supply chain across New South Wales, leaving shelves bare. Anyway, this aggressive and heartless move is further evidence of the disdain with which Woolworths treats community and their staff. So there we have it, everyone. I know a long and rambly video, but, we have a few things to go through there. What do you think? Do you think the 16% increase is justified in 1 year, or does it just seem as insane to you? Do you appreciate how, the argument that Mises is making, the myth of the unions, are you seeing how that they are jeopardizing these jobs of these people? Or how that, comparing Sydney, where you can get nice houses for under 400 grand, so comparing Sydney to Wuyong, 400 grand for a house compared to 900,000. There might be a reason why pays are a bit different. And you'd think people who work in logistics would understand that. Well, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and hunt for those 16% pay rises. Bloody hell.